in your packet to the end of your sources. Now, we don't have time to read every one in here, but you will when you take the test, okay? So, turn over, past the sources, okay? And look, get all the way to the page where it tells you about the thesis. All right? It is 20 or 21, depending on whether you like numbers to the center or numbers to the right. It just depends, okay? So it says, activity 4, using sources to formulate thesis. So you've looked at the sources. Hopefully this is giving you some ideas. Now, of course, it's going to be a lot more focused when you're all together. By yourself, and you're doing it alone, annotating. Now you're going to try to form your thesis. What they've done here is give you a thesis template. Templates are like recipes. They're a great way to start, okay? Now later on, once you learn to do something, you can throw out the recipe and you can tweak it to your taste, right? If you want it sweeter, you know what to do. If you want it to be more viscous and creamy and thick, you know what to do. Same thing with your writing. But start with the template. The template's a good place to start because you do have to have a concession. So although to open allows you to put a concession. So you might say, although individual expression is important, right? It's most important that schools support conformity by or in, fill in the blank, because. Now you could also go exactly the opposite of that, couldn't you? Although conformity is necessary when we have large groups of people in a small area, yes, it is most important that schools support individuality. So could you fill in the blank and come up with a thesis here? Are you seeing how this could take shape? Well, a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? Well, here's a picture of about 1,000 words. So turn the page. You see the scoring guide here. Now, you can make all the way to a 1. I think if you have a pulse, you make a 1. I don't think you can make a 0, okay? But we don't want to look at those. I mean, we're not shooting for that. We're shooting for upper level. So, yes, 9 is the best you can make. So 9's expression is pretty simple, but notice what 8 says, okay? 9 says sophisticated in their argument, impressive in control of language, so you use very specific words. Instead of saying show, you say illustrate. Instead of saying tell, you say reveal, because show and tell are for preschool, right? All right, illustrate and reveal for academics and intellectuals, yes. Okay. And show and tell are 4-letter words, and you shouldn't use them. All right, so effective. 8 is effective. They argue the extent to which schools should support individuality or conformity within the realm of your thesis. Remember, they gave you specific guidelines for what you should be writing about. You're choosing an issue. You're not being general. You want to be specific, okay? Their prose demonstrates consistent ability to control a wide range of the elements of effective writing, but it's not necessarily flawless. And then it reveals to you what 6 is, adequate. And you see the different details there. Develop their position by adequately synthesizing at least 3 of the sources. The evidence and explanations used are appropriate and sufficient. So if you haven't used at least 3 sources, can you make a 6, 7, 8, or 9? No, you can't even make a 5 or 4. Right. Okay, from there. So on your own, you can look at you can look at these 2 essays. It's a little confusing because they're in columns, but they do go on to the back. So you can do this when you meet with your own teacher or on your own. But look at these 2 essays and ask yourself if you would score them 6 or 8. And she may even give you a rubric so that you could look at the actual rubric. But notice that they do go on to the back. Okay? And ask yourself if they do, in fact, get you there. All right, so from me, do you know where you are going? Because it is that time. Do you know where you're going? Well.